Hi there, this is Sharon from Teacher Time Machine, and we just want to give you a little tour of Teacher Time Machine and make sure that you know how to use the tools well, give you some thoughts about why we made it the way we did, and help you get the most out of the tools that are in here. So let's start by, first of all, from our homepage, we go into the Creation Zone. And that's after you've signed in. You will get menu like this, go to the Creation Zone, and let's start with our planning tools. So we've got all kinds of tools in here to begin with, but we're going to focus right now on our lesson planner. So let's take a look. So the first thing that you're going to know in the lesson planner is, or notice in the lesson planner, is that you have the curriculum jurisdiction. So we have your curriculum embedded into it. So let's take a look, especially if you're in Canada here, and then we have US Common Core too. But if I'm in Alberta, that's where I am a teacher, so I would choose Alberta Grade 4 actually has new curriculum. And when I choose that, I then choose the subject area, and I have now all of the outcomes at my fingertips. It's really important to us that you can trust that these are the exact outcomes, curriculum outcomes, and that everything is aligned to your curriculum outcomes. Because if we're going to do outcome-based teaching and assessment, then we need to make sure that we are aligning our lessons to those things. Okay, so now because I've chosen that one, these are my more specific outcomes. So you can see also they are labeled right here with K for knowledge, U for understanding, S and P for skills and procedures. So we have those labeled for the new curriculum. And so let's say I'm going to choose that one, and I can of course choose more than one. And you notice how they're grayed out. That's so that you know which ones you've already chosen. Okay, so I'm just going to choose a couple there, and maybe I want to add, I'm going to actually do that one too. Okay, and then next we have our language. So you can translate it into whatever language you want. Of course, this is just for the teacher. So in this case, I want to be able to read it. So I'm going to choose English. And now we come to some very key reflective questions. This is a much different approach than most AI tools, and that is by design. We are all educators on this team, Alberta teachers for many, many years, and so we have put together what are the thoughts that you need to go through when you're lesson planning. And our hope is that by allowing you to have these drop-down menus and have everything at your fingertips, you don't have to have it all in your head. But yet you get input because we want you to have a customized result in the end. We know that you know your students best, and you can best make those decisions. And so we really value teacher input, and we allow you to make those intentional choices so that you can come up with a lesson plan tailored to the needs of yourself and your student. Okay, so that's the idea behind it. A very different approach than just give me a lesson plan kind of thing. Okay, so let's say I am talking about time here, having them communicate the duration of time and so on. I might want them to have to do some exit slips, things like that, for formative assessment. And again, what am I looking for? I might, the appropriate selection, maybe I'm going to look at their skill, actually, or the synthesis and application. Yeah, there we go. Okay, do you have a theme? Now, for the theme, you can choose absolutely anything. It can be anything like seasonal themes, Christmas, Easter, St. Patrick's Day, or fall or winter. anything like that. Or it could also be like friendship or the role of scarcity in war, or things like that. It can be anything from a kind of fun classroom theme to a more serious topic. And we just wanted you to have the ability to do that. Okay, then how many lessons? So you can do a series of lessons, which is another difference from a lot of different tools that are out there. But we want you to be able to build a few together, but we do not really want you to make like 52 lessons, because if you're doing that, you're not actually being responsive to the needs of your students, right? So let's do a few lessons during the day, during the week. And if I do a couple of lessons here, I'm going to get a pretty detailed response. If I do 5, I'll get less detail, just because of, token limits and things like that. All right. Now, which instructional methods do you want to include in your lessons? So here we get to really the nitty-gritty of how you want to approach this lesson. You know your students best. I'm going to say it again. You know your students best. So what kinds of strategies do you think would be best to really teach this? Now, we again have made it easy for you to make those intentional choices. Maybe you want some collaborative learning, and maybe you want some games. Yeah, we could do some games with time, I think. And how about some hands-on activities? Maybe they can get the clocks out and be doing those kinds of things. You mentioned with fractions, so we can do some work with that with the circle, and all kinds of possibilities there. But the point is, you get to make those choices. We make it easy with all of these at your fingertips. Once again, everything at your fingertips, but then you get a customized experience for your kids, right? Okay, then asking good questions. How many of those questions do I want? Oh, okay, I want 3. My students need support. Now here we have our universal design. So we're taking you through the process of thinking about all the things you need to consider when you're doing your planning, right? But we've made that easy, and you can now generate lesson plans in just a few minutes. Okay, so let's look at the needs of our kids now and go, I have some kids that need choices, right? Like I need to grab them and get their interest. And if I give them choice, then they get more buy-in. So I'm going to incorporate choice boards into my lesson. I also have some kiddos who are really struggling with their emotional regulation. So I'm going to work in the peer mentor kind of thing. Okay, and then finally, here's where I have finite control of exactly the things that I must have in this lesson. So I can say, I would like to focus on this. Or I can say, focus this lesson on Indigenous ways of knowing. So that's interesting, because I could take that and meld it with time and, have that both be the focus and integrate it that way. So this box right here, I'm going to leave it blank because, I'm not currently in the classroom, but this would be very, very powerful when you combine it with the other choices that you've made. Okay, I hope you can see that. And now in this field, we need a title of your file. So this is really your file name. So think about what you're actually asking them to do. So I'm going to say this is standard units of time. And you might also want to think about how should I name it so that other people can find it, because by default it will go into the library zone to be shared unless you uncheck it, and I'll show you where to do that in a minute. But you can uncheck it, and then it's just going to be in my resources, but it will be always accessible to you again. So you want to be able to find it easily, so remembering that. Okay, there we go. Here it's coming in. And you can see all of the choices that you made. There's your general outcome, your specific outcomes. Here's your methods. And then those things are reflected in the results that you get. So again, we asked for a game, we got a game. The instructions for the game are included. There's the peer assessment and so on. All right, now once it turns black here, it's in an editable box. So this is where I can add YouTube links, I can add photos, I can add anything I want. That's kind of nice to be able to have those links and things in. So yeah, you can go find whatever you need and then add it to. Here's your second lesson and so on. And do that before you save and download. Okay. Now, when I save and download, it's going to go in here. But as I showed you here, do you want to add this resource to the community library? If you uncheck it, it's not going to go in there. But if you check it, it does. Okay. Now, if I wanted to create a slide presentation, now I can do that too. So what we do on our end is we're going to create this. We're going to take the lesson plan and we're going to put what should be on each slide. So let's do that. So now it's working. You can see that. Okay, so there's everything that should be on each slide. Now what I'm going to do is we actually use a third party for this because we just haven't had a chance to build out a designer yet, but in the meantime, we love this one. So we wanted you to have access to go to Gamma. So here you just click, grab all that text, copy it. Then I'm going to go to Gamma. You would have to sign up for an account here. You will get some free. I don't know how many. I haven't really paid attention to that too much, but you can definitely get some and try it out and see if you like it. Okay, so here I'm going to paste my thing right in here, paste in the text, go continue. Then it's got that. We already did that work for it, so it doesn't really have too much that it has to do. Then I choose a template, pretty easy. Okay, I'm just going to choose this one and generate. And here we go. We've now got our visuals for our lesson 2. This supports our kiddos that really just need those visuals, right? Now, we always want to be having active, engaged lessons. So we're not real big proponents of just using the slideshow at the front to just lecture at the front. But we do like that you can have a variety of visuals that give kids the the instructions or things that they need. And you could also put this into, you can have a share link and things like that to put it in your LMS if you need to deliver it to kids through Para or whatever you use, or Google Classroom, a variety of those things. But it is really nice to be able to see all of these. I don't want this thing. Anyways, let's go on here. And there's my presentation. Very nice. Now this is all editable also. We love that. So if I click on here, I can change this. I can change the prompt for this and it will generate a new image for me, and then I can add that one. I can change whatever I want the image to be. So if I'd like this one instead, now I go there, see I changed it. So that's Gamma. And it works so nicely integrated with getting the lesson in Teacher Time Machine and then getting your visuals there. So that's our lesson planner. I hope you can see how it really values your input as a teacher because you know the needs of your students. And thanks for watching.